All right, welcome everyone. This is Mike with SuiteDash. Welcome to the Succeed with Software podcast. Today is a little bit different. We are interviewing a SuiteMate today who is became known to us just recently, and her name is Laura Mzhickteno. And she is the principal at REMEDIA WAVE, which is a social media service that repurposes your content so you can reach more clients without all the work. Yes, that's a good short summary. Nice job, Laura. Laura showed up in our community or in support. I can't quite remember, but I was really impressed with her professionalism and some of the ways in which she's using the platform, using SuiteDash to achieve her goals. So I reached out to Laura and started a little bit of a back and forth. And yes, my suspicions were confirmed. She's a sharp young lady, and I am really, really excited to introduce her here on the podcast, get to know her a little bit, and let you get to know her a little bit. So, Laura, welcome to the Succeed with Software podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, we're excited to have you. Tell us a little bit. I tried to introduce your business. I'm not the world's best expert at that. Tell us about your business and how SuiteDash might fit into that.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. I'm so excited to talk about this. I actually like to call it a SWAS, thanks to SuiteDash.
Oh, okay. All right. Inventing your own terminology. I love that.
SuiteDash has allowed me to create this SWAS, which software with a service.
Wow.
So building on the backbone SuiteDash gives us, we take a social media asset like this, like a podcast or YouTube video or Facebook Live, and we basically chop it up into a bunch of little clips and snippets and images and videos and all sorts of things to really create dozens of posts from a single piece of content so you can really maximize your presence online. Yeah, so that's what we do. And
got it. Yeah.
through the power of SuiteDash.
Well, that's awesome. It's a great idea because, of course, generating content is a difficult thing for a business owner. So what you're saying is you get one piece of content that's something that they were able to get or produce, and then extend that massively by cutting it up and making it last and making it a lot of variety, using it in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. That's awesome. Okay.
Well, social media is kind of exhausting, right?
It can be.
And I remember, gosh, when, I was sharing with you before this that I worked as a consultant, and even myself, I was helping people with copy and content, but just keeping up with the day of it was a lot of work. So I was like, we need a better way to do this.
Yeah, so maybe go over a little bit your relevant background there, because we did talk about it a little bit before we started recording, and I was really impressed there.
Oh, yeah. Well, the shorter version of it than I bored you with earlier as you were munching on a sandwich is that I have a master's in psychology, and I use that to bring like the buyer psychology aspect to copywriting and messaging and content. And I worked as a copywriter in marketing agencies and on my own as a brand strategist also. And the thing that, again, as I kind of voiced a minute ago, that I was kind of struggling with, and all of my clients were still struggling with, is, we would craft these great marketing messages, but it's just being able to create a lot of it, especially, if you're a consultant or a coach or, kind of a solopreneur or kind of a one-man show. It's a lot of work. So I kind of created this as a way to help solve that problem. But also, one of the things that I love about it is I truly believe that as entrepreneurs, we've got to keep innovating and simplifying if we're going to grow, right? We've got to find ways to simplify all that we're doing, to do it differently, to find better ways. I mean, business is problem solving, right? So that's one of the reasons I was really excited when I found SuiteDash, because I was like, oh, this gives me a totally new way to help people simplify the problem of social media.
That's great. That's great. Okay, so let's start with some key questions here, and I think this will help everyone relate to your journey. And really the basic question is, how did you find SuiteDash, and how, what were your goals as you looked for that solution, and how did you come across SuiteDash, and maybe just tell us a little bit about that journey.
Yeah. Okay. So, gosh, this was a project months in the making. And I had a whole project management board where I was outlining all of the features that I wanted, and I called it my machine that I was building. And, I knew I needed a place where people could log in, right? I knew I needed a client portal. I knew I needed a way for them to get information to me. I needed a way to manage that information and do project management and processes to it. I really wanted to give people the ability to schedule their social media content from the
Mhm,
platform. So
mhm.
not even just, you give it to us through the platform, we chop it up and give it back to you through the platform, and you can schedule it all from one place, right? I didn't want people going to log in over here for this and log in over here for that. And, all of the things that we do as
Mhm.
business owners, we have a million different tools. And I looked for everything. One option was like a, Airtable with a client portal feature on top of it. And the consultant who offered to bill me quoted me $5,000 to build it. I looked into no code app builders. I looked into custom app buildings. Like nothing was actually fitting my needs. Or, in the case of like building something completely custom, you're talking about a lot of time and a lot of expense for something that was really kind of new for me.
Right. And just to tell you, going the custom route, we've had people try that. It can go wrong. It can go wrong. You can spend a lot of money and end up with something that doesn't work, or works really badly. So yeah, that's all those options sound familiar. And then
Yeah, I actually was like starting to feel really discouraged that I wouldn't be able to find what I want. And I have to confess, I don't really know how I ultimately landed on SuiteDash. Like, I don't know
Mhm.
how I found it. I think it was just through like endless late nights of scouring the internet that I somehow magically ended up on the SuiteDash
You found the
website.
right combination of keywords, I guess. Yeah.
Right. Right. I finally found it. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I think this could work. Like, I think this could do it. And what I loved was the Simple Start series,
Oh, good.
because before I even signed up for SuiteDash, I watched the entire Simple Start series. I think I may have even binge watched the YouTube channel because I really wanted to make sure that if I was going to invest my time, effort, energy, money into a platform, I wanted to make sure in advance that it could do what I wanted it to do.
Sure.
So I did that, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I remember the feeling like this is it. Like I can actually make this thing that I've been dreaming about in my head that I was starting to lose hope about, because it does. It absolutely works.
Interesting. So one of the things that we've started saying here at Sweet Dash, I mean, of course we are software, but this kind of description came into my head one day, and really we feel like we are more like software that helps you make your own software. And so, I mean, of course, that's a tagline that maybe or may live or may not live. I'm not sure. You're the marketing expert. We'll talk about it later. But uh, you're talking about exactly that. You had an idea. It's unique. It's different. You couldn't find anything, but Sweet Dash maybe gives you the Legos that you could put everything together and make your software that you had in your mind.
Yeah, yeah. Or in my case, SWAS.
Oh, sorry. And SWAS is fun to say. That's a
Isn't it?
bonus.
It's a lot of
Yes.
fun to say.
Okay. So I guess what you're saying is when you found Sweet Dash, you felt like a sense of relief. You thought, okay, here we are. I think we can do this.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I mean, I finally the thing is in my project management board I told you about, where I had what I called my machine. Was literally that was
mhm.
what the board was called. I had in there, oh, I think I can use, you know, Dropbox or this or that or Google Drive or what I'm going to use for my cloud storage. Okay, now I'm going to use these are my options for project management tools. Oh, these are my options for CRMs. Okay, these are my options for client portals. And so I was really looking at it as like a separate, like, oh, I can use this for this functionality I need and this for this functionality I needed. And I was like actually kind of shocked because on your homepage you have this beautiful illustration that like has all these different tools that SuiteDash replaces. Yeah.
Hmm.
And I remember like those were all the same tools I was like looking at using. And I was like, oh my gosh, this can't be possible. Like, I don't need like all of these separate things. I can just put it together in one. And it was just, it was almost like disbelief at first until I was like, oh my God, it's real.
It's real. And what you're describing is the old paradigm. I mean, the internet went from internet to what they call Internet 2.0, which was really the SaaS revolution. And all these tools popped up and they all specialized in certain things. And that's great. And as they grew and grew and grew, great, great, great. They got more ultra specialized and ultra advanced to the point where I think a normal business owner is never going to use 80-90% of the deep functionality that's there. And so our concept was from the beginning to build a multi-tool application, a multi-tool platform that focuses on that really meaty 10, 20, 25% of these functionalities in a way that they're interactive and work together, provides you with one platform, one experience, one page or one bill,
Yeah.
and you can afford it, you can make it work. It's one learning curve. So that is
Yeah.
what I like to
I
call.
was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this exists. Like I thought I found like this secret tool that nobody knew about.
Unicorn, maybe.
Yeah,
No,
unicorn. Yes. You have created the unicorn
no, no, no.
of business software.
Well, they say unicorns are billion-dollar businesses. I don't think that's maybe one day, but for now, we're just trying to solve your problems and problems of the community and our other suite mates. But good, good, good.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe talk about how you applied the multi-tool platform SuiteDash into your workflow and how you started to um, fit that into things that you needed to happen.
Oh, yeah. Gosh. Well, one of the first things, like I said, it was really important to me that I was able to build an online social media scheduler into my platform. So one of the things that really stood out to me about SuiteDash was how I can use pages and embed and kind of, it's like you can say, it's like you said about a software that helps you build your software. I could
Mhm.
make it my own, right? I can make it have the functionality that I needed. So that was huge to me. The other thing that I loved about it instantly that we've really used are how we can use forms and CRM update forms to like automatically create projects, to automatically keep our clients seeing where our projects are at with them. I love that there's like the messaging feature built in. We're using all of that invoicing. They actually, one of the things that we do when people come on board with us is we create kind of brand templates or presets, kind of like here's a preset image of what your quote images are going to look like or your video memes are going to look like, and we use flows to get them to approve those. I mean, it was just yeah, I mean, we created this place thanks to SuiteDash where they can log in one place, and there's a simple menu where they can, tell us about their brand. They can submit new pieces of content to us. They can receive all of the clips and snips we have in their file folders. It's all organized. Um, they can schedule it right from there. They can message us right from there. They can manage their billing right from there, all in one spot with really simple navigation. So it's a win on their side, but then it's this amazing win on our side because everything's automated. When they submit their forms about their brand, that automatically creates a project for us. Same thing when they submit a new podcast or a video, that automatically creates a podcast or
Beautiful.
a project for us.
Hmm.
So everything it just is really systematized, which makes it so much simpler to manage.
Of course, yeah. So
Yeah.
instead of getting an email and you think, oh well, this is good that I got this email, but then it adds what 20 minutes maybe to a 20-minute task to your agenda instead of a 2-second turnaround or in basically instant turnaround with the automation. Yes, of course.
Yeah, yeah, it's so automated and streamlined. And what's cool about that too is then it's like on the client side, they can see the progress too.
Mhm.
And so I just feel like it's such a win-win for everyone. The way I talked about file organization structures. The fact that I can apply a file profile, which I think I heard maybe are going to be called generators in
Yes.
the future.
Good. I was going to bring
Um,
that up. We did just recently rename all of our quote profiles to generators, so now we have a folder generator, and we like that name
mhm.
because it says what it does. It's a generator.
Yeah.
It's a machine that generates a folder profile, project generators, recurring invoice generators, etc. Yes.
Yeah. And so that's what's so cool too is, every single client who logs into our platform, they all have the same folder structure, everything's organized. So it's like we don't have to create things for each and every client. They're just automated. Um, yeah, so we're
That's right.
we're using all of those all of those great features.
Great. A word we like to use around here. So we invented our own word, like SWAS. So we we invented our own word, and we call it pre-create. So you do a lot of pre-creation
Yeah.
in your work. So you're using generators to make a specific configuration that when a client enters either through a manual addition process or through an intake form or however you add them, you can apply that on the way in using an automation, and boom, every time they come in, you're getting the same predictable and error-free result. And I think that's also something to say related to automations. Automations are awesome, of course, because they save you time, they save you all those things. But one of the big benefits that gets overlooked is the lack of error, right? So
Mm.
every single time it will work the same, and you're not going to make mistakes. Your client's going to be impressed, and that's big.
That is big. That
Yeah,
is, I hadn't really thought about that until you mentioned it, but that's huge. I mean, human
sure.
error is such a big thing. And yet one of the things, and I don't mean to like sound like a walking advertisement for SuiteDash, although I kind of do, is that um I've shared with you, I've been so incredibly impressed with just the service and the amount of support and the amount of help and like the simple start series and all the documentation and all the how willing the support team is to help and how quick they are at getting back. And I really think that as business owners, we can stand out on doing things well and having high levels of customer service and high levels of accuracy, if you will, with our work because so many companies have sort of like disregarded that these days. Like we don't even expect like great service or things to go smoothly because we've just been so conditioned to so many businesses doing it poorly. So it's a way we can stand
Absolutely.
out a lot.
Of course, and I could see it. Your customers, when they see this smooth process, and the email arrives immediately, and they click the link, and it's exactly what they expect, and all these things. You're building a trust with them, a commitment, and they say, "I'm willing to go. I'm definitely willing to take another step with this company because everything I've seen so far has been super pro, and I'm ready to go. I mean,
Yeah.
people are impressing me." So, yeah, it's a great way to build your business, build your brand, and often overlooked, as you say. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
Okay,
Totally.
awesome. Well, maybe if you would, I don't, and of course, I'm not sure where your secret sauce is in this question. It must be in the, it's in there. I know it's in there. So if you don't want to share parts or of your process, but maybe you
Mhm.
could just kind of walk through your process from maybe the lead gen, the sales process,
Yeah.
how your customer journey is, and using SuiteDash as sort of a framework to guide that conversation.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, I would be wrong if I didn't start by saying when it comes to even lead generation or getting the word out, we've really centered it on the fact that there's this progressive web app, right? Like, I mean, you have the our little tagline up there, and it says, in just one login per week, right? So we're
Mhm.
really marketing ourselves and in our lead generation, from having this web app, right?
Mhm.
So that's, yes, the functionality in SuiteDash in terms of, the CRM and being able to, get people onto email lists and things like that is really, really useful. But also, like, just having the tool is forefront in our marketing, right? Having that portal, having that progressive web app that people get to utilize, is really forefront in our messaging.
Mhm.
And then, of course, the CRM kind of lets us, monitor who's a prospect, and who's a client, and all of those features. Documentation, and signing agreements, as people are coming on board. Actually, I was super impressed. SuiteDash, actually, this is like the tiniest thing, but I was really impressed. SuiteDash actually gives you this great little box to just like paste in your terms and conditions, and then it just puts it like everywhere it needs to be when they're doing invoicing and things like that. So
Mhm.
completely automated once you've stuck that in there. But we use the flows when they first kind of onboard to have them approve their brand templates. um, and then, gosh, the circles. I'm sitting here going, how, like, what are all the things we use? The circles are huge, right? We use the circles based on all kinds of things about where they are in the buyer's journey.
Yes.
I'm a marketer. I come from kind of that AIDA model, right? That awareness, interest, desire, so where they are in the prospect journey, where they are in the client journey, what, we have multiple plans, so what plan they're on, really managing different groups of people through circles is a big, big part. And then we use all of the software and the automation, of course, in our delivery. We've talked about that. They send
Sure.
everything up to us through forms. We put everything in their files, which, by the way, ends up building like a massive content library for people, right? Like their SuiteDash file turns into like, oh, here's this bank
Mhm.
of content that I can repurpose and reuse and recycle. So
And they go to receive that or to get that, they go to your professional portal. So again,
exactly.
they see you as a resource, a trusted place where they can go. Yeah, I can see that.
Exactly,
Mhm.
exactly. And then, it's such a pain in the butt for them to leave us because all of their stuff is there.
Insert evil laugh here. Yes, exactly. But of course, that's business, And if you're providing a great service and it's a sticky
Right.
service, sticky's
Yeah.
the word that it means it's a pain in the butt to leave.
Oh,
Exactly.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I learned something new today.
Yeah. So sticky is
Don't
the
call
is
it
the
pain in the butt on the
right.
podcast. Call it sticky.
Well, it's just the sort of politically correct way to say it, I guess. If you're in, but yeah. So just to back up a little bit, the
Yeah.
PWA
Hmm.
stands for Progressive Web App. And for those that don't know, Progressive Web App is a new technology. It's a sort of cutting edge technology that allows us to take your custom URL, your account, and you can send that link to your customers, and they can actually install it, your PWA, directly on their device, on their phone, their iPad, or whatever. And the icon that you specify, this is your custom icon, will show on their device just like any other app. And when they open it, it goes directly to your login page, customized, and they log in. So you and that costs nothing additional with SuiteDash. So it's just part of your account, and you get that, you configure it, and then you encourage your clients, as you have done here, just one login per week. But you're everywhere that they are. You live everywhere that they do, and become convenient for them in that way.
Hmm.
And this technology is only getting better and only opening more doors. So it allows us to continue to push the edge here. And the second thing, the circles, and you mentioned circles. Circles are our dynamic permissioning structure. And what's neat about it, and you said that you're using them to manage their journey, and that's a great way to work with circles. and it's not just a segmentation. You didn't say that, but I'm just expanding on what you said. It's more than a segmentation. You can set this up so that each time they log in, based on their stage in your designed journey, you can show them a new start page or a new experience. So if they change circles in one of your steps and then they log in the next time or they come back to the platform, they could see an entirely new start page, an entirely new menu. Everything can change to adapt to their current stage in your process.
Mhm.
Yeah, so circles are
Yeah.
really really neat like that, and all you have to do to move someone from one experience to another is change their circle. Just remove
Yeah.
them from the one circle, or and add them to another, or add them to an additional circle because they can be in many many circles. So you can
Which can
use
be
them.
done by automation, by the way.
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
So if they complete a form or
Exactly.
I
Pay
just
an
wanted to throw
invoice,
that in there.
sign a contract, approve an estimate. I think there's probably close to 20 places in the platform that we have a trigger that you would be able to change the circle or any of our other actions, which there's dozens. So great.
One thing about the progressive web app that I forgot to mention is it's cool that I have that too, right? So if I'm, at the beach,
Hmm. Hmm.
I live in Florida. If I'm at the beach and I need to check on something that's going on, like as a super admin, I can log in
Hmm.
with that, and so that's really cool.
And you can all the functionality is there in the platform. So
Yeah.
in many platforms or applications, uh, they'll have a web application, and then they'll have a native Android and Apple mobile app.
Mhm.
So the problem there, though, is that when they create a new feature, say for the website, they have to go and then recreate that feature for not just one native app, but both. And so what ends up happening is that the functionality in the native apps is pared down. It's slightly less. It's a few months behind the web app. With the
Mhm.
progressive web app, when we release a new feature it's live everywhere immediately and usable everywhere immediately, meaning on the PWA and on the desktop app. So it's just an awesome technology, an awesome future that is coming out in front of us, and as that cutting edge moves further and further, you will benefit from that. Every single thing that we're able to add to the PWA, you will have. We're adding
Mhm.
custom splash screens. We're adding custom iPhone add to install this app notifications and things like this. So, yeah,
Right. And it's completely white labeled. I
right.
mean, that's the other thing that I really haven't talked about. I I was really seeking that branded platform. And that's what's so cool about it is, they're logging into, essentially what for all intents and purposes for them looks like my app, right? My progressive web app. So
Absolutely.
that's super, super cool.
I mean, that's our mission. That's our mission, which I think you would be hard pressed to find a similar uh, a company with a similar commitment to that. And we know from the beginning. Now, of course, we are saying, okay, our name is not going to be in front of your customers, which means they're not going to find out about us, and we're giving up that small little piece of marketing collateral. Really, is what it is. Every time the name gets out there, but it's much more important for our customers to just be the only brand that gets seen. And so we go to extremes to make sure that SuiteDash is not in their view in any way.
Absolutely. There's no hint of it. And
Right.
I do see that you go to extremes because I do have a social media scheduler built into my SuiteDash, and it's quote unquote white labeled,
Right.
but
You
but
can change
not
the logo.
anywhere to the extent as SuiteDash, and it really wouldn't take even really an ounce of digging for someone to see what platform we
Right.
integrated into there. So
For most apps, the white label means I can change my logo. That's
right,
in one place. Okay,
right,
it's white
exactly.
label. Not
That's
quite the
exactly
same.
what it is.
Right. So, yeah, for those that are listening, our white label commitment is well, well, well above normal, and almost to the point of being slightly neurotic. So we admit that. We're okay with that. So okay. The white label we just talked about in a way that the PWA and how it enables your SWAS, which I still am enjoying. That's awesome. All your emails, everything that goes out. So
Oh, that's something. Okay, you guys don't tell us this enough before we sign up.
mhm.
The fact that like all of the transactional emails that are needed for the web app for the portal are already like pre-created and in like, kind of the create it once kind of way. You can just brand it. But like I don't have to think about like what's the email somebody's going to get when it's time for them to create their login, or what's the email somebody's going to get when a new project's created, or what's the email somebody's going to get
Hmm.
when they receive a message from me through the messaging platform. Like it's all already done. That's an insane amount. Like I was a copywriter, you guys. Having all of those pre-written is an insane amount of work done for you.
Right, but they're not static. So we write them as a default, and you can change them. And once you change them in your account, they're 100% yours. They never get overwritten. And even if we change our default, we still don't overwrite yours. We offer the default as something you can see and revert back to if you'd like. But no, if you want to go and you, especially as a copywriter, you can really show
Yeah.
your style and your personality there and extend on what we did. As long
Yeah.
as you leave the placeholders in place that output the dynamic data, then everything's fine. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. It's great.
awesome. Okay, so I guess this is a question I like to ask because it happens to me a lot. Uh, After you started using SuiteDash and started seeing the ways that it could help a business and the ways that it could streamline things, did you find yourself thinking as you're walking into businesses or walking by businesses or having people quote things to you, etc., in your normal life and in your business life? Did you start thinking, really, they should probably be using SuiteDash? I mean, it would really help them.
Oh my
Did
gosh,
you?
all the time.
Right.
This I will warn you, if you start using SuiteDash, you'll start realizing how many people need SuiteDash.
Yeah.
In fact, I shared with you, I was actually recently kind of frustrated with some lack of responsiveness from my accountant. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to find an accountant who uses SuiteDash because then I know I'll have a portal. And I also know I'll be working with an accountant who took the time, effort, and energy to create a portal. Um,
Exactly. And values your security. I mean,
yes,
they're not going to send you your tax returns and attached to an email, which mean it's
exactly.
basically like sending it as a postcard. So absolutely, all kinds of businesses can benefit. It's
Oh gosh, I was taking a walk in my neighborhood. I promise you guys, if you start using SuiteDash or if you're already using SuiteDash, this will happen to you. You'll see it everywhere. I was walking in my neighborhood and there was like landscape guys and pool. I live in Florida, so
mhm,
lots of pool guys and landscape guys. And I was like, oh my gosh, all of these businesses need SuiteDash, right? Your
mhm.
landscaper. I mean, we have somebody who takes care of our pool. I was like, oh, that would be so cool if I could log into my pool, my pool platform. And then I think back to like my background as a copywriter and working with web developers and designers and coaches and it's just attorneys, computer support. It's like endless.
Right.
I'm having a harder time thinking of a business that wouldn't benefit. But it's like you start seeing it everywhere. You're like, oh, I wish I had a portal for this.
Right. And what a way to set yourself apart. So let's just say you're in
Yeah.
a market and you 4 or 5 businesses are doing what are in the same niche as you, not you, but just anyone. And you're the one that takes the time, creates all this branded uh, client facing all these client facing assets that are helpful to them and they log in. It's all white labeled. I mean, who do you think
Mhm.
they're going to recommend when they start dealing with you and everything is really kind of streamlined, like clockwork, really professional? Your
Yes.
business is going to thrive. Any time or expense that you put in on the front end, it will it has to. It will come back to you
Right.
by people who are impressed and they're spreading the word, and we all know that's the best way. The best marketing on earth is you
Mm.
have to use this attorney, you have to use this accountant. It's awesome. I have this login. I can log in and see everything. If I want my tax returns, I just log in and download them securely.
Right.
And think about from the accountant side. If you're an accountant out there, I know you understand the pain of receiving an email at least once a week, probably more than that. Hey, we're trying to buy a house. Hey, we're trying to do this. Can you send me the tax returns from 1999 through 2000, whatever, So, or for the past 2 or 3 years. Yes, that becomes a little bit of a drain on your time. And if you could train those clients, and you can, because clients they'll look out for themselves, and the easier the better. If they can log in and get those assets easily, that's a huge boon. Yeah, for sure.
It's really like a win-win-win, right? Like
Right.
it's a win for the client, it's a win for you. Like it just makes it easier for everybody when they have access to all of that.
Totally agree. Okay, so here's another question. I guess I can tell you are really making the most out of the features that exist now. And of course, there's new features coming out all the time, every week or two for sure. We're releasing what we call a Fresh on Live, which is our sort of formal announcement of what has been released on the platform as far as refinements and new features. And here's a plug for the community at community.suitedash.com. That's the first place that Fresh on Live announcement is made. So kind of a benefit of being in the community and participating there. But let's think about the future. I know you are aware of some of the
Mhm.
future features, yes, that are
I
coming.
I am so excited for the LMS,
All
the
right.
learning management system.
Yes.
I don't know if you want to tell people
No,
in,
tell us. I want to hear exactly how you think
okay.
about it, and go ahead.
Yeah. Well, so coming from my background as, really, really a consultant role and a coach role and helping people with their marketing, a lot of what I have created up until this point, works a little bit more like an online course type of situation. I create lots of trainings and guides and tools that help people market their business. And so really I see an LMS, and you may know of a lot more additional functionality than I know about, but I see it as a really organized approach to creating an online course or modules or information that
Hmm.
you want people to learn. And so I have, all of these trainings, all of these courses, all of these tools. And when I can bring those and put those in the progressive web app in the client portal, so now you're in a place where not only all in one place, you can like send us your content, we'll chop it up for you, you get it back in your files, you schedule it out. But now you're also getting these several modules about how to craft really effective messaging, how to create content that converts, how to create a social media plan, and you're getting all of this training to go with the SWAS.
Yes.
Now, I mean, if I do say so myself, we've really stamped out all the competition because where else are you going to go to get all of it in one
Uh,
place?
That's a huge value add for you. I mean, what you're
Yeah.
providing is a value, the content, the training, and just to say here that a lot of people will think, oh, an LMS. Well, I don't need that because I don't create courses. I'm not needing that. But what you described is exactly the maybe the more popular use case, which is I want to bring people in and I want to show them or give them some content, and often with lead gens it becomes PDFs or whatever it is. But you give them a content almost like a course, but it's not a course you're going to grade, or it's not a course that you're ready to um, do something like that. Not like a university, but more so like a very structured and guided journey through that course in a way that it's tracked. So if they finish lesson one, that's noted, and then we know that. And not only that, but it also gives you the ability to know how many people made it through lesson five, or how many people watched the entire video in lesson six. So there's a lot of functionality there that can be used in creative ways, as you described. Yeah.
I think it can also be really helpful. The other piece I'm excited about is it can help your customers know how to make the most of your software or your service. One of the things that I've gotten a lot of questions about, okay, after I do this, what do I do? And then after I do this, what do I do? And,
Hmm. Hmm.
like, what's my next, messages? Like, okay, what's my next step now? And so, and yes, we have some, instructional videos embedded on pages and things.
Hmm.
But to have a walkthrough, I mean, even let's say you're an accountant, go back to that example, to kind of
Hmm.
have a walkthrough about like, oh, here's the first steps and here are the things I need from you. And where they can kind of self-service so that you're not having to answer all of those questions. One, it's great for them. They can get the answers they need faster. And it's great for you because again, you're not answering all of those questions one at a time.
And it establishes you in their mind as the guide, which we
Yes.
in marketing, if you can position yourself as the guide, then you are the person that they're going to go to and trust, and that's good for business for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
And one more thing to say about LMS is that it's not just limited to your clients. It will be available and usable from the beginning for your staff. So
Oh, nice.
imagine, right? Imagine that you're starting a new team member. Maybe they're an intern or they're just starting, and you really just want to you create a course and say this is how we do things at Remedia Wave, or here's the first things you need to know. And so you can start them immediately when you add them as a staff member. You can
Mhm.
assign an LMS course, and they immediately we receive the email. They can start working their way through it. You can set up automations based on the completion.
Mm.
So right now we are a mostly client facing type situation. Although of course as you noted, we have really deep project management and uh, tools of that nature. But in the future, we're moving much more into the HR space, where the idea would be if I hire a new employee, I need them to sign 2 or 3 contracts, or an NDA or whatever these things are. Uh, if I could hire a new employee, put in their email address, and apply some profile or set up a pre-created experience to them, and you could do that as simply as adding them into a circle, or in the case of the staff side, we call that a team. The same functionality on the staff side, and just from that one little addition, as you're adding them in, can kick off that entire journey for your staff as well. And so some of that exists now, but definitely the plans are to extend that, and LMS is a part of that. So LMS will come straight out of the box, ready for that kind of functionality, and we're excited about that as well. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
excited.
cool.
And I know that there's also support tickets coming,
Yes.
um, which I'm also super excited about. I know my particular use case is I plan to, use our kind of our customer support or customer service
Hmm.
that way. If they need a change on, a particular video clip that we snip for them or something
Hmm.
like that, that they'll manage that through support tickets is my intention. But I'm sure there's I'm sure there's a lot more to it than that. But I'm really
It
looking
can be
forward
that.
to it.
It can be the traditional as you imagine. So again, I think there will be a lot of use cases for support tickets when it is becomes reality. Pro tip: in the meantime, if you are interested in support ticket functionality, the work request functionality is purposed uh, by a lot of our clients to adapted to be a support ticket type functionality, or at least an initial support
Mhm.
request. And then from there, you would take it in a different direction, maybe through messaging. But it's something you can. The terminology is work request, but you can use the translation feature to change that to support request very easily, and all of that will just come. It will look exactly like a support ticket to them as they submit it, and then you could take it
That's a great
again.
idea.
Yeah, you could offload that into another one of our tools, probably messaging, until support tickets becomes a reality, and then it'll function very much like you think, a threaded conversation that you are having back and forth, that they can either log in and answer, or click a non-logged link and give an answer or reply, or reply to that email and give a reply. So very, very useful.
Mhm.
Okay,
That's
awesome.
great.
All right, well, and probably the last question I always like to uh, give this question: what could we be doing better? So I think we talked about the things that are good about SuiteDash. I always want to know what I can be doing better, what SuiteDash, the team, could be doing better, what the platform could be doing better. So
Mhm.
please, yeah,
Well, I mean this really, really sincerely in that I've been blown away in a really positive way
thank you.
at every step. The functionality's been great. It's very user friendly. All of the features, all of that, yes. But then the support and the community and the webinars and that, like, you're just so surrounded with so much help. And I don't want to give away anything to a surprise for anybody new signing up. But I know when I signed up, I got what looks to be a handwritten postcard in the mail, and
Mhm.
just that extra step and mile. I've just been blown away with everything. So there's nothing that I think is wrong. I think
Okay,
it's all
right.
fantastic. The only thing that I would personally love to see added, where I kind of am now still going, well, I do know that you guys are building website builders into the
Yes,
platform.
that's
And
correct.
so I'm excited for that. But I already know that's in the plan. What I would love to see in the plan is an ability to manage affiliates or referral partners and kind of streamline their kind of earnings from promoting my business.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, we that is a fairly common request actually. So just let's talk about it for a second. So I want to make sure that I understand how you would use it. So I think it would be something that you would say, okay, I need to here's a new referral partner. I want SuiteDash to generate a coded link for me, something with their that's specially just for them.
Mhm.
And then I can give that to them. They can share that with their friends or other business colleagues. And
Yeah.
when that colleague or their friend lands on my site, use from that link, we're going to
Mhm.
track that. We're going to track that. And if you end up closing business with them or convert on SuiteDash, meaning they purchase through that, then we would track that and report that to you in some CMS or list.
Yeah,
Similar?
yeah, that's
Hmm.
exactly the functionality.
Gotcha.
And brownie points if they could, log into the portal and, see maybe some data
Oh,
on
for sure.
how many
Hmm.
sales they've had. And then I could provide them with some copy, you know.
Right. Right.
Yeah, that is exactly, I would love to see that on the roadmap in the future because and then yeah, I know that the website builder features coming, so just to have all of that in one place would just be awesome.
That's great. Well, we're constantly looking in other niches, and the thing about Sweet Dash is that uh, it's so extensive that we have built almost every kind of module or component is a one way to say it that you can imagine. And
Yeah.
so what we constantly are looking for is other niches where we could take our existing Legos, we say, and rearrange them and rebuild them and restack them uh, in another way to achieve another functionality.
Hmm.
It's less of a it's not as difficult as starting from scratch because we already have all those other pieces and parts that we can plug in. So something like what you're talking about is certainly doable. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I realize I've gotten kind of spoiled, right? I never, before Sweet Dash, I expected, to have my cloud storage separate, my project management separate. But see, now you've spoiled me to where I want it all in one place now. I don't want to go anywhere else for anything.
Well, I do
So
believe that's the future. There's no doubt about it. So,
yeah.
exactly as you're saying, you as a consumer are finding it as convenient, streamlined, economical, and enjoyable and functional. So, I
Mhm.
mean, look,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not a genius, but those five things will eventually add up to somebody wants to use this and for the long term. So, we're happy about to hear that kind of feedback. Uh, and let's just I want it to be said that you are part of our community. You are what we call a suite mate. We are a community driven platform. So just like I want to pull those details from Laura and say, tell me exactly about what you need and what you expect and how you would use it. We're doing that every day in the community, in vote at our feature feedback board. You can find it vote.suitedash.com. So every single day we are assessing and requesting and asking for feedback from our community, from our suite mates, and those things are getting built on a regular
Yeah.
basis.
I requested a feature and it's already been marked as planned.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So
And
it's
which one
great.
is that? If you have it on top of your head, I'm just curious.
Yeah, it is. I wanted to, on the project management side, it shows the due date of a project, and I
Uh-huh.
wanted to either remove that or change it to creation date because, well, frankly, sometimes I'm waiting on, pieces that, and that from them. And so I don't really want to set a due date, or things may take
Uh-huh.
different amounts of time if they're
I think
submitting
you're
multiple requests.
I think it's called the expected completion date.
Yeah,
And
that's it.
it was required at some point, and the reason for that was we do have plans in the future to move into some sort of like a project planning kind of view where you can see where
Mhm.
projects start and end and look at them on the timeline. So that's a data point that for that to work, it's more convenient if we have it. But we realize, as you say, that that's not always convenient for our customers, and I'm happy to tell you that it's already not required. Yes. So
Oh my goodness, I
yeah,
hadn't even seen that yet. You've
it's
made my day.
just in the past, I think 3 or 4 days is so
Oh, that's so
that's very
exciting.
fresh on live, as
See,
they say.
but here's the thing. I just want to point this out to anybody listening. I requested that change, gosh, within the last month, right?
Mhm.
Within the last probably couple weeks. And that's what I mean when I say I've just kind of been blown away by the responsiveness. So it's really
Well,
cool.
yeah, and I should just tell you that it's only because it's you, Laura. That's why we did it. But the truth is, that is that multiple people have said that, and so we're listening to that, and we hear that noise, and as that the volume gets louder and louder for a certain thing, that's obvious to us that okay, it's time to pay attention here and do this, and so that's what you'll see at vote.suitedash.com. You'll see things being voted up, voted up, voted up. You're getting our attention, and now, okay, now it's planned, now it's in progress, and now it's live, and we try to update that as often as possible. So. Yeah, great. Good, good, good. So happy to hear that's working for you and you experienced that. Great.
Yeah, it's
That's
great.
awesome. All right, Laura. Well, I'm at the end of my questions. I've had a really good time just uh well, of course I've had a good time because you're saying a lot of good things about Sweet Dash.
Well,
And
I love it. It
so-
really is. It's completely, what I wanted to create for people, I don't think would have been possible in the way that I wanted to create it without SuiteDash. And
yeah,
I mean that. It's true.
I hear you. And people listening have no way of validating this, but Uh, just believe Laura and we met just a week or two ago. This is all off the cuff and authentic, of course, and so I think you can hear that. But it's hard to sometimes it's hard to swallow that when all the feedback is kind of good. We're not perfect. I want to be the first to say that we're working hard to approach perfection is the thing that I like to say. We're getting there. We're close, but and no software is perfect, and no software is bug free. That's for sure. Ask Trello; they've been down who knows how many times this week, and so there's pain that gets spread around sometimes. We do our very best, and we're fully committed to getting a result like Laura has experienced. But also, as she has said, when we fall short of that expectation, that means we have to work twice as hard to support you and respond to you and get a solution for you in place as fast as possible so that you're back to doing what you do best, which is your business and the things that you are professional at. So that's what I can say to that. The things aren't always perfect, but we really try. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's a great experience. I would without a doubt, and I'm not just saying this because Mike's on, I would without a doubt recommend Sweet Dash really to any business owner who's looking for a way to stand out in the marketplace or
Thank you, Laura.
simplify.
That's so
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, thank you very much. And thank you for being on the podcast. Thank you
Thank you for
for
having
sharing your
me.
story and being so open. You did a great job. I hope I was able to keep up and try to be listenable is just my goal, really.
I
So
know I love listening. I totally binge watch all the webinars and the Simple Start series, and I love listening to the way you explain things. I tend to be really high energy and excited, and you're so thorough and calming and clear that it's like, okay, I can do this. I can do this.
good, because that really is the goal. So
Yeah.
I really think so. We talked earlier about this sort of Internet 2.0 with the SaaS revolution, and a lot of these tools have gotten to the place where um, a business owner who's busy and they're trying to put everything together, look, it just gets overwhelming. You just get in there and you see the UI and you look at it and think, I am scared. I'm afraid, really afraid. So this can happen. Uh, so we intentionally are bring SuiteDash as far as we can to an approachable level. And that even goes down to the UI. You mentioned earlier the navigation is very clean and very straightforward. Our
Mhm.
goal is to put every button exactly in the first place that you look for it. You know,
Yeah.
my dad used to tell me that if you lose something uh, and you eventually find it, the next place you should always store it at the first place that you looked from then on. Right?
That's
So
really good advice.
it's great advice, and I'll use it. It's awesome. I always just kind of just have a little smile when I find that in the first place that I look. Sometimes after that, uh, buttons should be right where you want them to be, and we try to anticipate that and make it clean. We don't hide buttons behind, you know, fancy UI or something like that. I just don't believe in that. I believe in simplicity,
Mhm.
effective in practicality. So that's really our approach. And then in the videos, yes, we're not going to breeze through things. We're going to take it really slow. That means, yes, you might run across a 40-minute video, but I think it's almost 100% that if you watch all the video and follow it, you will get it. You'll get it because it's
That's
really
true.
slow and step by step. Yeah.
You will. You will.
Awesome.
I promise. You
Okay.
can do it. And if not, you can comment in the community and we can help you
That's
do
right.
it.
That's right. Okay. Well, I think that is a great place to wrap up. Laura, again, it's been a pleasure. Thank
Thank
you very
you.
much. Uh, we hope that people will come and see you at Remedia Wave. I know everyone out there needs help with social media, including everybody. SuiteDash has social media needs. We all do. So
Yeah.
uh, I might
Yeah. Well,
have
we'll
to.
chop this up for you.
Maybe yes. I'd like to see how that works. So head on over to Remedia Wave. Give Laura a call or a contact, and you might just find yourself in the middle of a SuiteDash process, but you would never know it because it's white label.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Love it.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thanks again, Laura.
Bye.
Have a great day. Bye.